Imagine standing on top of a wall so enormous that it stretches farther than the eye can see, disappearing into distant mountains, deserts, and forests. The wind whispers through the ancient stones, carrying echoes from thousands of years ago. Millions of tourists visit this incredible place every year, taking photographs and admiring its breathtaking views. To most people, it is simply the greatest wall ever built by human hands. But beneath those weathered bricks lies a story far more extraordinary than anyone could imagine. This is not just the story of a wall. It is the story of an empire's greatest dream, countless sacrifices, heartbreaking tragedies, legendary warriors, hidden secrets, and one of history's greatest engineering miracles. This is the untold story behind the Great Wall of China. More than 2,000 years ago, China was not one united nation. Instead, it was divided into many powerful kingdoms that constantly fought brutal wars against each other. It seemed as though peace would never come. Then, in 221 BC, one man changed history forever. His name was Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a united China. He defeated every rival kingdom and declared himself the ruler of an empire unlike anything the world had ever seen. But victory created a new problem. Beyond China's northern border lived fierce nomadic tribes, especially the Xiongnu, who were skilled horsemen capable of attacking villages without warning before disappearing into the endless grasslands. The emperor knew that if he wanted his empire to survive, he needed more than a powerful army. He needed a permanent shield. His solution was unlike anything attempted before. He ordered workers to connect and expand older defensive walls built by different kingdoms, creating one massive barrier stretching across northern China. It was an idea so ambitious that many believed it was impossible. Construction began almost immediately. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Some historians believe that nearly 1 million people may have worked on different sections over many generations. There were no modern machines, no cranes, and no engines. Every stone, every brick, every basket of earth had to be carried by human hands or by animals across steep mountains and dangerous valleys. Life on the construction sites was unimaginably harsh. Workers faced freezing winters, scorching summers, hunger, exhaustion, and disease. Many never returned home. Ancient legends claim that countless workers died during construction and were buried beneath the wall itself. While modern historians believe this story is exaggerated, there is no doubt that thousands of lives were lost building this monumental structure. One of China's most famous legends tells the heartbreaking story of Meng Jiangnu. Shortly after her husband was forced to help build the wall, she waited months for his return. When winter arrived, she carried warm clothes across hundreds of miles to find him. But when she finally reached the construction site, she learned that he had died from exhaustion and had already been buried nearby. Overcome with grief, Meng Jiangnu cried so intensely that, according to the legend, part of the Great Wall collapsed, revealing the bones of her husband. Although this story is mythical, it became a powerful symbol of the human suffering hidden behind one of history's greatest achievements. As centuries passed, different Chinese dynasties repaired, expanded, and rebuilt the wall. It became far more than a military defense. Watchtowers were added along its length, allowing soldiers to observe enemy movements from miles away. Smoke signals during the day and fire beacons at night created one of the world's earliest long-distance communication systems. The wall also protected trade routes that connected China to distant civilizations. Merchants carrying silk, tea, porcelain, spices, and precious goods passed near its fortified gates. These routes eventually became part of the legendary Silk Road, where cultures, inventions, religions, and ideas traveled between East and West. In many ways, the Great Wall became not only a barrier but also a gateway connecting civilizations. Despite its enormous size, the Great Wall was never completely invincible. Throughout history, determined enemies occasionally found ways around it. Some attacked weaker sections. Others bribed guards to open gates. The greatest example came in 1644, when rebel forces weakened the Ming dynasty. A general guarding one of the major passes opened the gates to the Manchu army. Instead of stopping the invasion, the wall became the entrance through which a new dynasty entered China. This event reminds us that even the strongest walls cannot protect a nation if trust Many people imagine the Great Wall as one continuous structure stretching from one end of China to the other. Surprisingly, this is not true. The Great Wall is actually a vast network of walls, trenches, mountain fortifications, and defensive structures built during different periods over nearly 2,000 years. Combined together, these sections extend for more than 21,000 kilometers, making it one of the largest construction projects in human history. Different regions used different building materials depending on what was available. In deserts, builders packed layers of sand and gravel together. In forests, they used timber and earth. In mountainous areas, huge stones formed the foundation. During the Ming Dynasty, strong bricks became common, creating many of the impressive sections visitors admire today. Walking along the Great Wall today, it is difficult to imagine the constant activity that once filled these pathways. Soldiers patrolled day and night. Messengers raced. Horses waited inside nearby forts, ready to ride at a moment's notice. Every tower had a purpose, every stone a story. Over the centuries, the wall became deeply connected to Chinese culture. Poets described its endless beauty. Artists painted its winding path across misty mountains. Generations of families told stories about ancestors who helped build or defend it. For many people, the wall came to symbolize determination, endurance, sacrifice, and the strength to overcome impossible challenges. As time passed, large sections of the wall fell into ruin. Nature slowly reclaimed abandoned watchtowers. Earthquakes damaged parts of the structure. Weather wore away bricks and stones. Some local villagers even removed bricks to build homes, unaware of the wall's future historical importance. By the 20th century, many sections had become badly damaged. Fortunately, preservation efforts began to protect this priceless treasure. Restoration projects carefully repaired famous sections near Beijing while leaving many remote areas untouched, allowing historians to study the wall's original construction. Today, millions of visitors from around the world climb its ancient steps each year, experiencing the same breathtaking mountain views once watched by soldiers centuries ago. One of the greatest myths surrounding the Great Wall claims that it is the only human-made structure visible from space with the naked eye. It is a fascinating story, but it is not true. Astronauts have confirmed that the wall is extremely difficult to see without cameras or special conditions because its colors blend naturally into the surrounding landscape. Yet even without being visible from space, its achievement remains astonishing. Modern technology has revealed even more hidden secrets. Archaeologists using drones, satellite imagery, and advanced mapping SIST reminds us that history still has mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not how the wall was built, but why people were willing to endure unimaginable hardships to create something so enormous. The answer lies in humanity's timeless desire for safety, survival, and hope. Every civilization dreams of protecting its people from danger. The Great Wall became the physical expression of that dream. Standing on the wall today, you can almost hear history itself. The footsteps of soldiers, the laughter of workers sharing a brief meal, the commands of generals, the cries of grieving families, the distant gallop of horses, and the silent determination of millions who shaped these stones with their own hands all seem to echo across the mountains. The Great Wall has witnessed the rise and fall of emperors, dynasties, invasions, revolutions, and countless generations. It has survived wars, earthquakes, storms, and the passage of time itself. Few places on Earth have. Today, it is recognized as one of the greatest wonders of the world and a symbol of China's remarkable heritage. Yet behind every brick lies a forgotten face, a silent sacrifice, and a story rarely told. It reminds us that the greatest monuments are not built by kings alone. They are built by ordinary people whose names history may never remember, but whose work changes the world forever. So the next time you see a photograph of the Great Wall of China stretching across mist-covered mountains, remember that you are looking at far more than an ancient fortification. You are looking at centuries of courage, ambition, sorrow, innovation, resilience, and hope carved into stone. Every step along its winding path tells the story of a civilization determined to survive against impossible odds. And perhaps that is the wall's greatest secret of all. Not that it kept enemies out, but that it became an eternal monument to the strength of the human spirit. And perhaps that is the wall's greatest secret of all, not that it kept enemies out, but that it became an eternal monument to the strength of the human spirit. Because when you truly look at the Great Wall of China, you are not simply looking at bricks, stones, and ancient watchtowers. You are looking at thousands of years of human determination frozen in time. Every single step along this endless pathway carries the weight of countless untold stories. Stories of hope, sacrifice, courage, fear, and survival. Imagine waking up before sunrise over 2,000 years ago. The mountains are covered in cold mist, and the sound of hammers striking stone echoes through the valleys. Thousands of workers slowly climb the steep hills carrying heavy rocks on their backs. Some are young men dreaming of returning home to their families. Others are old craftsmen using skills passed down through generations. Some are soldiers ordered to defend the empire, while others are prisoners forced to work against their will. None of them know that the wall they are building will still stand thousands of years later. They do not know that millions of people from every corner of the world will one day walk the same path. They do not know that children will learn about their work in history books. They simply continue placing one stone after another. One brick. One stone. One step. Day after day. Month after month. Year after year. Here were no bulldozers. No cranes. No trucks. No electricity. No computers calculating engineering designs. Only human strength. Human intelligence. Human patience. Every stone had to be moved across impossible terrain. Every brick had to be placed by hand. Every tower had to survive freezing winters, burning summers, powerful winds, and earthquakes. Even today, with all of our modern technology, building such a structure across thousands of kilometers would be an extraordinary challenge. Yet ancient builders accomplished it with little more than determination and simple tools. That achievement alone is almost impossible to comprehend. But perhaps the greatest lesson of the Great Wall has nothing to do with engineering. It teaches us something far more important about ourselves. Throughout history, humanity has always faced fear. Fear of invasion. Fear of losing loved ones. Fear of the unknown. Fear of tomorrow. Whether that promise was always fulfilled is another question. Because history teaches us a difficult truth. No wall can completely stop human ambition. No fortress can guarantee permanent peace. No empire lasts forever. Even the strongest kingdoms eventually fade. Even the greatest rulers are eventually forgotten. Time defeats every empire. Yet strangely, while kingdoms disappeared, the wall remained. Dynasties rose. Dynasties collapsed. Wars came. Wars ended. Borders changed. Generations passed. But the Great Wall continued watching silently from the mountains. It became more than a military defense. It became history itself. Imagine standing alone on one of its highest watchtowers as the sun slowly sets behind distant mountains. The wind gently blows across the ancient stones. The crowds disappear. Silence fills the air. For just a moment, it almost feels as though time itself has stopped. You begin to imagine the soldiers who once stood in exactly the same place. You imagine them staring toward the northern horizon, wondering whether enemies would appear before sunrise. Perhaps one soldier thought about his family hundreds of miles away. Perhaps another dreamed of returning home after years of service. Perhaps another wondered whether history would ever remember his name. It never did. But the wall remembers. Every stone remembers. Every tower remembers. Every mountain remembers. Although their names have been lost forever, their work continues speaking for them. That is one of history's greatest mysteries. Sometimes the loudest voices disappear. But silent monuments continue telling stories for thousands of years. Today, visitors arrive from nearly every country on Earth. People speak different languages. The crowds disappear. Silence fills the air. For just a moment, it almost feels as though time itself has stopped. You begin to imagine the soldiers who once stood in exactly the same place. You imagine them staring toward the northern horizon, wondering whether enemies would appear before sunrise. Perhaps one soldier thought about his family hundreds of miles away. Perhaps another dreamed of returning home after years of service. Perhaps another wondered whether history would ever remember his name. It never did. But the wall remembers. Every stone remembers. Every tower remembers. Every mountain remembers. Although their names have been lost forever, their work continues speaking for them. That is one of history's greatest mysteries. Sometimes the loudest voices disappear. But silent monuments continue telling stories for thousands of years. Today, visitors arrive from nearly every country on Earth. People speak different languages. Nature has reclaimed large parts of it. Yet somehow those imperfections make it even more beautiful. Because they remind us that history is alive. History changes. History ages. History survives. The cracks in the stones are not signs of weakness. They are proof that the wall has endured centuries of storms, wars, earthquakes, and endless seasons. Those cracks are the fingerprints of time itself. Perhaps that is why the Great Wall continues inspiring people even today. It reminds us that strength does not mean never being damaged. True strength means surviving despite the damage. That lesson applies not only to civilizations. It applies to every human life. Every person carries invisible scars. Every person faces difficult moments. Every person experiences failure, loss, disappointment, and hardship. Yet just like the Great Wall, we continue moving forward. One step. One day. One challenge at a time. Human beings are capable of achieving what once seemed impossible. When millions of ordinary people unite behind a common purpose, mountains can be crossed. Deserts can be conquered. Dreams can become reality. The Great Wall is living proof of that truth. Even after more than 2,000 years, it still stands beneath the same sky. It has watched countless sunrises. It has witnessed endless sunsets. It has survived empires. It has survived wars. It has survived history itself. And every morning, as the first rays of sunlight touch its ancient stones, the wall silently reminds the world of one timeless truth. Human civilizations may rise and fall. Kings may rule and disappear. Empires may be built and eventually crumble into dust. But courage, sacrifice, hope, determination, and the extraordinary strength of ordinary people? These are the things that truly last forever. And a message carved into stone that has survived for over 2,000 years. A message that still whispers to every traveler who walks its ancient path. That no obstacle is too great. No dream is too impossible. And no challenge is beyond the reach of people who refuse to give up. Because in the end, the greatest wonder of the Great Wall is not its incredible length. It is the incredible spirit of the people who built it. And perhaps that is why, after thousands of years, it continues standing proudly beneath the endless sky not only as China's greatest monument, but as one of humanity's greatest achievements. Its stones may grow older. Its towers may weather with time. But its story, its message, and its inspiration will live on for as long as human beings continue dreaming of accomplishing the impossible.